You're welcome, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to this session. Okay. Just want to appreciate everyone that has found time to be here. Okay. Tonight promises to be very exciting. So, we're going to just take it a bit. Let's say in the next, let's say 6 to 7 minutes, we'll start to call up everybody that that is supposed to be here so that they can immediately join the meeting. So make sure, because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Most people pay thousands of dollars to have this opportunity to actually meet with our resource person. So he's live, he's direct here. So everybody, please make sure you reach out to somebody that will need that is maybe working at your colleague, your friend, your course mate, somebody you need that that will publish uh, journals in maybe right now or in the future. Reach out to them. This course about to start. So please invite everybody. Invite. You're welcome for the people coming in. We're about to start. So if you know anybody that is meant to be here, anybody that will require these lectures, please reach out to them. Because once we start, we're not going to turn back for anybody. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. You get the opportunity to ask questions as regards journal publications or using free publication mediums. So if you know anybody that needs this class, please mute your mic for everyone. Please mute your mic. You can mute your mic. Is everyone on the call? Mute your mic. Thank you very much. Okay. So about to start. So in the next 6 minutes, we will get started on the call. Okay. So I'm aware that some of us are trying to join. So just reach out to everybody that you know that should be here. This is going to be a once in a lifetime opportunity. Get to meet with a resource person, discuss about the journals, and also for those the group members, all group members of that are supposed to be here that are meant to publish this month. Please, every one of you, this is meant for you. The reason why we put together this meeting is for you to have live meeting, live training, hands-on training, so that when you're publishing at the end of the month, you should have all the ample data and information that you need for your publication. So be it whether you're a lecturer, be it whatever in whatever line of work you be in, you need this class. Okay. So that's that for that. So I'm just going to give the next 4 to 5 minutes. So while we get ready, we can as well just call somebody to be in this class. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, you're welcome, everyone. Welcome to the class today. My prof, I see you. You're welcome. Please reach out to everyone that you know will need this class, especially your group members. If you know any of your group members that are not here, that you publish together, please reach out to them now. They need to be here. We're starting in 4 minutes. We'll start the presentation in 4 minutes. Our our resource person is already live here, so we're just trying to give a bit of time because this is a very, very important class. It's a very important class. So if you have anybody, your group members, please reach out to them now so that they will be here in the class, in the meeting. We don't have time today, please. Then as for those that have not joined a group, please indicate in the group chat. This is the right time. You should choose a group. We have already separated everybody into groups. So your chat the target for these classes, now that we have groups, we have topics, we have constructed a research question. What exactly are we going to use that to prepare? What journal are we going to use to prepare it? That's the next thing right now. Do you understand? So please reach out to everybody, all right, on the group. So then, before we also go ahead, please, is there anybody here that is here for the first time? If there's anybody that is here for the first time, please, as our tradition is, we want to welcome you. If you're here, this is your first time of joining this meeting, please, you can unmute your mic and as well introduce yourself. We want to meet you before we start by 8:10. Please go ahead. If there's anyone that is fresh or new in the meeting, thank you. Okay, so I believe that everybody here is is uh is not new. Okay, so quickly let me share my screen. Please confirm that you can see my screen. So immediately the resource person can take over at 8:10. Okay, but before that, I want to briefly introduce our resource person. Our resource person is I think he's somebody that I honestly I look up to. Somebody that we knew as we have known him in the research space as somebody that is quite detailed. He likes everything that has to do with his passion, which is petroleum engineering. So he's somebody that we have known as a key participant in research endeavors for the longest time ever. So a research person is not somebody that you just before he comes up to speak. He's somebody that is quite is somebody that you can approach when it has to do with anything that has to do with research, especially when it comes to engineering, petroleum engineering.
Patient with us.
Okay. Okay, so sorry, my network kind of went down. So sorry about that. So I'm about to introduce the guest of today's meeting. All right. So please join me as I welcome our guest for today's meeting. His name is Engineer Ayom Ebenezer. He's a petroleum engineer and research professional known for his strength in technical writing, data-driven research, high-quality academic publications across engineering and applied sciences. Okay, so he's also he graduated with distinction in petroleum engineering from FUTO and has solid experience in reservoir optimization and modeling, predictive data analysis, sustainable and alternative energy systems, geospatial and environmental analysis, machine learning applications in research. His research work has been published in reputable platforms like Elsevier, Improved Oil and Gas Recovery (IOGR). Has also worked with top organizations such as HydroServe Oil Services, Elita Consult, Quasar Silicon Valley, delivering technical research, documentation, and data-driven engineering solutions. So what people appreciate most about his sessions is his teaching style. It's practical, it's clear, and easy to apply. So he breaks down complex research concepts into simple steps that anyone can understand. So please join with me as I welcome our guest speaker for today, Mr. Ebenezer Ayom. Please join me and give him a hand of applause as he joins. Please go ahead, sir. Unmute your mic and join, sir.
You're welcome, Engineer Beniza. We're glad to have you, sir. Welcome, Engineer Beniza. Welcome. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Ikena, for this opportunity to share the little I have with your community. So we'll go straight into what we have for today. We're going to start briefly with this slide, and then as we run down the strand, we're going to see how far we can go with the practical sections so we can help guide you publish your works. So I titled this as how to publish your journal article for free, right? So most people, they have that reluctancy of wanting to publish because of the levy that most editorial bodies have. So I want to see how we can break or cross that bridge and have ourselves to publish our works all by ourselves and at no cost. So let's go ahead. What we are looking at today is the contents of what we'll be looking at are, the first thing is predatory avoidance, right? So one special thing about publication is that it has to do with documentation. You're documenting your research or what you've done for the public to see. So that's why it's publication. So it's open to everyone that have access to it. So we want to see how we can avoid predatory publishers and fake charges, right? So we have um, fake charges, and then we have predatory publishers all over the internet. So your ability to look out for them and avoid them will save your head getting trapped. And then we'll have a look at how to prepare and submit a correct manuscript. So why I don't want to go through the route of trying to talk about what research is, I believe all of us are more experienced in that area. So, but one, I want to streamline in our second outline is how to prepare and to submit a correct manuscript. So you see the guidelines that are required, the do's and the don'ts, and then what should spice up your own manuscript for it to be accepted in any journal. And thirdly, what are the expectations of the editorial bodies? So, in as much as they are not charging you for your publication, each editorial body have an expectation, they have a standard, they have like a template, they have laid down principles you need to follow, they have practices, right? And if you deviate from them, you might likely not have your work to be published. And I would like to put it up to us this evening that we have to be open to rejections, right? So most people, when they meet me, they be like, they don't know why their paper was rejected. They don't know why their research publication was rejected. So I see rejections as feedback and areas where I need to work on and have my paper or my research work to be a top notch. And then there will be a practical section where we'll explore a particular journal and see how to interact with their website and how submissions can be done, and then go through what is expected of them, take a look at their templates, what we need to do and what we ought not to do. So there will be a practical section for that. All right. For the predatory avoidance, what are predatory journals? So predatory journals are actually, Iken, are you still on the call? All right, beautiful. So predatory journals are actually fraudulent or low quality publishers. So what they do is that they target researchers. Once they see your profile out there that you're a researcher, you begin to get feedback from such publishers. Oh, come publish with us, right? And then they offer unrealistic fast acceptance. So from the period where I started my publication down to now, I think over 4 years now, the minimum timeline for manuscript acceptance is usually 2 weeks. But you see some of these journals, they'll come up and you just submit your journal today, and by next 2 days, you're seeing them giving you a feedback already. So it means that they are very, very unrealistic. And then they use deceptive practices and unclear processes. So when I mean deceptive practices is that they are kind of subtle. They come with some promises to tell you that, look, if you can submit with us, you will have this, right? So they attach deceptive incentives to what should be done. And then their processes are usually unclear, right? So today you hear that they are publishing for free, and then in the next uh, week or 2 weeks, you realize that your journal has been accepted, but for it to be put out there, you have to pay so and so amount of money. So that is actually a very deceptive practice. So when you see such, you realize that you are in the wrong track. And then the demand hidden or unexpected publication fees, just like I said. And then they prioritize profit over academic integrity. So they want to make money over what? The academic integrity. So most of them don't even go through your work to see how genuine it is, how novel it is. What are you bringing into that particular industry? What knowledge are you bringing into? What new thing do you want to introduce? They don't care to look about that. What they care about is just the profits they are intending to make. And how do we identify this predatory journals? So the first thing to do is what? You verify the journal legitimacy. Verifying journal legitimacy, what you do is you check for their indexing in directory of what? Open access journals. That's DOAJ. And then as well as Scopus. So in publications, there's something that is known as indexing. So it's either the top index are usually Scopus index, we have a Google Scholar index, and directory of open access journals as well. And then we have this Clarivate. So I've actually have some of my publications on some of these indexing bodies. So once you realize that the journal you intend to submit to, they are not indexed in any of these bodies, please run away from such journals. So the Google is your friend. You can always check to see, oh, is this journal in which index is this journal? So if they don't give you a very good answer, some of them will be like they are not sure, right? So when I recently checked for Science Direct, right? Science Direct is actually some Elsevier publications or journals. Most of them are Scopus index, while some are what? Google index. So if you don't look at that, you will feel, oh, because I'm doing this in Elsevier, it's actually Scopus index, but that is wrong. And for benefits of those that are really into academia, Scopus index, I feel, gives a higher grading. So those that are into academia will know better. So absence from reputed, reputable database is a strong warning. So if they don't have a reputable database, just like to say they are not on Google Scholar, they are not on academia, and you can't find them on some of those open access journals. Please, those kind of publishers are not genuine. Then another thing you need to look out for is you evaluate their peer review process. Evaluate their peer review process. So the longer it takes for them to review your work, the more genuine it is, right? And the more uh, credibility they have, right? So if you have a journal, or if you're to submit your research work on, let's say, for instance, petroleum and coal, and then you have a feedback, let's say in the next 1 week. Believe you me that that journal, they didn't go through your work. So if it is less than 1 week, just like I said, if it is less than 1 week, just like I said previously, such journals are not genuine. So how do we evaluate these peer review processes? Authentic journals take weeks to months for peer review. So I've had one submission like that that took about 6 months for it to be reviewed. And when the paper was finally published, I must tell you that paper actually got me several awards and several collaborations from different bodies, right? And up till I think recently, that was last month, some of them reached out to me. So if that's why I said that the longer it takes for them to do what to evaluate your work, the better uh, the journal body, and as well the more they will see faults in your in your paper and want you to rework on it. And the more you rework on it, the better and the more refined research work you will have. So instant and same day acceptance suggests no real review. So once there's no review, it means you're actually doing nothing. So avoid journals with unclear or hidden APC fees. Then another thing you should do is what? Assess editorial credibility. Editorial credibility has to do with when you submit your journal, is usually normal to get um that prompt that your journal has been received. It's different from your journal has been accepted. So being received is that it has to undergo several processes. So it first gets to the editorial board, and then the editorial board will now scrutinize it to be sure it's to be sure it aligns with their goal first. So each journal have a particular goal. When I mean goal, they have a particular research interest they often publish. So if it's in line with what they want, and then secondly, if you actually obeyed all the principles they set in the template, were you able to follow their template religiously? Were you able to submit the extra documents, and then your co-authors were you able to send in their contributions and all of that? So all of that will be reviewed by the chief editor, and then after that the chief editor sends it to the production team. Sorry, before the production team we have reviewers. So most journals, what they do is they ask you to submit your own reviewers. So if you don't have reviewers, you now have to scout forward reviewers. So when it goes through the reviewers, you sometimes you might have about 3 reviewers, reviewer 1, 2, 3. So for it to go through those 3 reviewers, and then it gets to the production stage, from the production stage, it now gets published. So if you're able to review the chief editor's profile, and you see that it is not, you don't have a very tangible information about that person that assumes that position, believe you me that that journal or those people, they are not genuine. And then fake names, empty bios, and unknown affiliations indicate predatory practices. So most of them, they don't even have uh, they don't even have a bio. You don't even know how to read about them, what are they into, and all of that. So if you see such, please, this is from such. Then examine journal quality and communication. So journal quality, there are journals where uh, when, like I said previously, when you submit today, you can get feedback like next week. So when you begin to go through their website and try to examine the quality of researches that has been published in that particular journal, you realize that they are actually below expectations. So assess the quality of previously published articles. I've worked with several persons. So one of the persons that I love working with, he reached out to me once and he said, if you're to submit a journal to a particular, if you're to submit your research work rather to a particular journal, try to understudy the previously published articles in that particular journal. So it will give you that initiative that is this the right journal for me to submit my research work? Because nobody wants to, after sweating, after all the nights of research, and then you're dumping your research work on in one low quality journal. So watch out for unsolicited and aggressive submission invite. So there are some that when they see your profile, maybe you have a profile on academia, you have a profile on Google Scholar, some of you have profile in DOI and all of that. And when they see your profile, they begin to spam you with mails, right? I have a whole lot of them. So they spam you with mails that you can submit any kind of journal. And I'll be like, you don't do everything, right? So I can't be submitting engineering journals here and you as well accepting uh, journals that are, sorry, accepting research in the area of, let's say, uh, construction, or let's say medicine, right? So the thing is that I understand that there are still other journals that are multidiscipline, but not every journals are multidiscipline. So the next thing we'll be looking at is manuscript submission. Manuscript submission. How to prepare, and submit a correct manuscript. How to prepare and submit a correct manuscript. So there is actually a default submission manuscript structure that has to do with the title. You go from the title, you have the abstract, the keywords, introduction, methods, results, discussion, and conclusion. So this manuscript structure is the default one. So that's why it's advisable that before you begin or before you submit your manuscript to any publishing body, you should do what? You should try to examine them and then see how you can get your and see how you can get to know the templates, what they need. So if theirs is as well like the default one I've set up here, your title, the title of what you're working on, and then the abstract has to do with the summary of your research work. So it include what you're working on, your research question, the method you're applying to that, and then let's go over it again. It includes your research question, the research gap, and then the method you're intending to use, to fill in that gap, and as well as the results you have, and a little bit of comparison between what others have done. So that's little difference is what makes your own research a novel one. And then the keywords, why journals always tell people to state keywords is usually because they have a way of helping sort out your journal. So when you're searching for your paper in a particular journal, and then some persons don't remember the entire title, or you're just with a few keywords. So with that keywords, it will help to do what? Extract the research work from that particular journal. That's why keywords are usually very, very important. And keywords could be to, I think, 5 to 10 words, as the case may be, depending on the journal. And then your introduction, just like your regular introduction when you're doing your thesis, but now it's a little bit brief because you have to merge everything into most journals, I think, from 15 to 20 pages. So ensure that all of this is accommodated into that. And then the methods, the results, and the result has to be so obvious that what you're doing is different from what others have done. And then discussion and conclusion. So the next thing is you check plagiarism and grammar, right? You check plagiarism and grammar. So it would be very unfortunate that you did a research work and then it was being tested and you realize that your plagiarism check was not done and your reviewer is sending a feedback to you that you defaulted in plagiarism. It would be very embarrassing as a researcher. And then your grammar as well. So we have tools that you can use for plagiarism checks. I think some of them are free. We have Plagiar, AI, and a few of them. And then run grammar and language check to improve clarity and professionalism. So some of the journals as well, they have specific grammar and language check apps that you can use to help format your um, or to help improve clarity and professionalism when it comes to submitting your journals. And then format figures and tables correctly, right? So I will dwell on this more. Uh, journals, different journals have a different way of formatting their figures and their tables. So if you have, that's why I started by saying you need to understand their templates. You need to do what? Understand their template. There are some journals that they don't allow you to include your figures and your tables in your manuscript. So you need to have an extra document that will accommodate your figures and another document for your tables separately. And then there are other journals where they accept that, okay, you can integrate the two into your manuscript. But then they have to be what? A good, they have to be good labeling. And then they have to be what? Captions and numberings. So uh, when you're numbering or capture trying to put captions on your figures, you have to make it so descriptive such that your reviewer will understand, because you will not be there to explain that this is this figure, this is that. And then ensure that tables and figures are clear, consistent, and correctly placed. So there are some journals that will tell you if you're not including a figure, or if you're not talking about a figure, don't include it in your manuscript. So if that figure, you don't explain it in any part of your manuscript, you shouldn't do what? Include it in that your manuscript. And then apply required referencing style. So different journals have different referencing styles. So, but we thank God for some softwares that are out there to help in this area. So use citation formats requested by your journal, by the journal rather. So we have APA, we have IEEE, we have MLA, and some others. So some of the apps that you can use, I think Mendeley can help you navigate all of this, such that even if you did your work in APA standard and then you want to switch to IEE, it's very easy with Mendeley. And then maintain consistency in text citation and referencing lists. So you have to maintain consistency. It's not that you're using, even in APA, we have APA 6, 7, and so forth. So you have to be consistent in the one you're using so that when you're when you're trying to reformat it, maybe to MLAs, possibly the previous journal you sent to, they didn't accept, and then you're trying to submit to another journal which is requesting for MLA, you'll be able to do that swiftly. You're able to do that swiftly, right? So let's move to the next slide. All right. Still on the manuscript submission, what are the essential things we need to take note of? Let's look at the essential things we need to take note of. The first thing is manuscript documentation, right? So these are the extra documents, or these are the extra things you need to go alongside with your manuscript during submission. So write a strong cover letter and ensure all authors have approved the final manuscript, right? So when you're submitting your manuscript, there should be a cover letter that indicates all the authors responsible for that particular research, and then their verdict that, oh, they are approving that this particular research work should be published in that journal. And then there is something that is called compliance requirement. Compliance requirement. So it has to do with ethical approval, consent statements, and then data availability declarations. So when you come across journals that request for all of this, you need to do what? Put them together and ensure that you send it in line with your manuscript. Then, lastly, on that, we have technical preparation. Technical preparation for, so I said for your reference manager, you make use of Mendeley, Zotero, and then EndNote, and then you convert your files to the journal's required format. So majorly the majorly most journals request for Word documents so they can be able to do what? To place their corrections and their comments on that particular paper you're submitting to them. So let's move on to editorial expectations. What editors look out for in free publication? So the first thing they look out for is your research significance and novelty. So you have to be what? You need to have a very clear problem statement. And then when you have a very clear problem statement, you try to as well showcase your contribution and the relevance of what's your research to that journal scope. So that's why I said before you submit your journal, to avoid uh, back and forth rejections, you need to do what? Understudy that journal. That's why uh, you can't always submit to a particular journal, right? You can't always submit to a particular journal. You need to submit with respect to the objectives of that journal. So if the objective of that journal does not match your problem statement or what you're bringing into the journal, they will not accept it. So it has to be very, very significant, and it has to be what? Novel. So when you talk about novelty, it doesn't mean that you must have 100% different thing from the previous publishers. So you could have a review. There are review papers. There are research work where this is an original work that is coming from you and no one else has done it. Then there are also improvements where you're improving on other person's um, research work. So, but they need to see that little effort you as well did. And then there have to be robust methodology. Robust methodology has to be do with strong and reproducible method with reliable data and analysis. So if you don't have a strong method, I assure you that your journal will be rejected, right? So there was a particular journal I submitted to, and one of the reviewers there said the method is too shabby. I felt like crying because this is something that took me 2 to 3 months to put together, right? So when they give you this feedback, it means that you need to rework on that, and then you try to optimize your methods and see that you're working with a very reliable data, because some of them are usually very funny. They may want to get your data, most especially when it's going into the production phase. For those of you that are into machine learning, when it's going into production phase, they want to see your data and then see how it can apply in real life situation and scenarios. And then your analysis has to be very, very strong. You need to be very, very analytical when it comes to presenting your method. And then your writing quality and presentation. So the way you present your write-up will actually determine if they will was accept your journal. So I've been among a team of reviewers where we're looking at somebody's research paper, and it looked like a cut and join kind of work, right? Where you get this information from here. So I don't blame such people because they had, I think, about 6 to 7 authors. And probably from my own perspective, I was feeling maybe this author will bring this idea, and they were not having that logical flow amongst themselves. So there have to be that logical flow. Then there has to be clear writing that, okay, from this particular place, there's a well structured way you're writing. And then you also organize your figures. So you don't want to see uh, one figure looking this way and the other way, the original way the figure was supposed to look. And then supplementary material. So supplementary materials cut across uh, the software you're using, right? So you talk about the software you're using, the data if it's available, and if it's available, right? And then if there are samples you use for those that are into maybe laboratory research and all of that. And then if there are samples you need to showcase, if there are plates you need to snap and send and as well. So those are parts of the supplementary materials. And then accurate referencing. I don't know why I keep talking about this accurate referencing, right? So there is there's also an LFI on someone that's uh, he he was into it. He was doing his, I think, his masters. That was his final year. Was it his finals? I think he was rounding up his masters, right? And then he hired somebody to do a research work for him. And unfortunately, the person did the research work very well. And then, but the referencing was too poor. That most of the citations the person used were not correct. So it had to dawn on him that the research was to be done again, and that's another extra 1 year to be spent doing what you should have done properly, assuming the person used what the correct citation. So you need to always be sure that your citations are very, very correct. So when it comes to referencing, what I do majorly is that I get all the previous journals I need to use, or I get all the previous research papers that are related to what I'm working on, and then I send them into my Mendeley. And when they are in that Mendeley, what I now do is whenever I get an idea from this particular person, I go to Mendeley and then I cite the person. And once you cite the person, that's one beautiful thing about Mendeley. Once you cite the person, it now appears in your reference list. So it makes the work much easier for you. And then you have to be consistent with the referencing style you're using throughout the manuscript. So you don't have to just maybe you're using your manual referencing style, and then you realize that where you are supposed to use APA 7, you're using APA 6. So that will not be acceptable. Also, there are tips for free journals you need to take note about. The tips for free journals. The first one there is that you choose non-fee journals, right? To choose this non-fee journals, you target reputable journals that do not charge authors for publication. There are so many journals. As a matter of fact, since I started publishing, I have never paid for my publication, and they are actually very reputable journals. So when you search for them, they always state it on their page that it is free and open access. And then if you want to go into funded journals, look for the ones that are supported by academic societies, right? So when I mean go, if you prefer funded journals, is that most people will be like, okay, I don't want, I am ready to pay, right? Any amount of money. I've had people like that come and then it'd be like, let's do the research. Don't worry about the funding. We'll pay for it. So when you're in that particular um position, please look out for journals that are supported by academic societies. We have a whole lot of them. One Petro, that's supported by I think SP and a few others that you can um, rely on. And then they're also supported by universities and government institutions. So all this will make you to be sure that your money is not gonna waste because you're actually being backed by pronounced bodies. So be cautious of hybrid journals. So I avoid journals which are requesting fees unless a free subscription-based publishing option is available. So you should avoid journals that are requesting that you should pay when there is a free subscription-based publishing option uh, in that particular journal. So at this point, we should be having a practical section where we go to a particular journal I chose, right? And then we see how we can interact with their site and see what are their expectations, what's their templates, how their templates look like, their submission process and procedure, and some others. So, but before then, I would like to know if there is any question before we proceed with that. Are there questions? Okay, I think I can see a hand.
So,
Go ahead.
good evening, everybody.
Good
Can you hear
evening.
me? Good evening.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. I would like you to give us some of the publications that can offer no fee journals. That is, which of the bodies can one actually contacted on that?
Okay, I'll do that. Are there any other questions?
Thank you very much, engineer. Please, when you were talking, you mentioned medley, that you used to use, but so please let me have the spelling. Is it MEDLEY or ME? Please just let me have the spelling of it.
Okay, the spelling of Mendley. Mendley is MENDLEY.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Is there any other question?
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, so if you have any questions, please, this is the time to ask. Our resource person has gone through a very, very superb presentation. And as somebody that is well versed in research and research methodology, a well published author, so this is the opportunity you have to ask questions before we go into the live practical session. So please ask your questions now. If you have anyone, please go ahead and ask. Okay, over to you. All right, please go ahead and ask. Somebody is raising their voice. Over to you. So go ahead. Okay, in the absence of questions, please over to you, our resource person. You can go ahead to the practical class. I think sir, you can attend to the question that was asked by engineer Udo, so that we can go on with the class in the absence of any other question.
Okay, so thank you so much, Engineer Udo. Just a sec. So we have several journals that are free of charge, and I would like to share the ones I've worked with, right? So I don't give you, that's why I'm trying to sort them out. Okay, so we have these with respect to my own area of interest. We have the first one is improve oil and gas recovery. That's for those that are into petroleum engineering. And then we have engineering world. So engineering world is as well free of charge. And we have Science Direct. So Science Direct is also free of charge. We have International Journal of Engineering and Information Systems. International Journal of Engineering and Information Systems. So that particular journal, they accept publications monthly, right? So they have issues every month. So they submit, you can, if you're this regular kind of person and you want to be publishing monthly, so you can make use of International Journal of Engineering and Information Systems. And then we also have conference journals like One Petro, for those that are also interested in going into the oil and gas. One Petro is a very good one. And then we have Journal of Petroleum and Mining Engineering. Journal of Petroleum and Mining Engineering. And then for still those that are into either maybe geology and geophysics, we have Association of Petroleum Explorationists. So that's NAPI. It's actually a Nigerian-based journal
body. Is that okay by you, Engineer Udo? Right?
Okay, thank you very much. But do you have any maybe on on social science or something like that? Maybe like a journal, maybe like can take something on procurement management.
Okay, for procurement management, so you can look out for multidisciplinary. Let me confirm this. Multidisciplinary. Okay, multidisciplinary journal. So it actually accepts across multiple academic discipline. So you can check out for that. And then multidisciplinary journal of science and technology as well. And then multidisciplinary and current research. So they also accept across different disciplines. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's okay.
All right. So for the practical section, we are going to be making use of this journal of Research, Technology and Engineering. Journal of Research, Technology and Engineering. So what I will do is I'm going to drop the link on the chat box. So you go there just to be sure that we're following. Take about 5 minutes to 10 minutes, interact with the website, and then
Sorry, my
when you're
network went off a bit. So, okay. So my network
There's-
went off a bit. All right.
no
So are
problem.
we in the practical section now?
Yes, so I'm actually sending the link to Journal of Research, Technology and Engineering into the chat box. So we all have to go there with your devices, right? And then try to interact with it. And we'll have an interaction section thereafter. So we have let's say 10 minutes. So we'll be back here by 9:15 to discuss on what we can spot out from that particular journal. Then before I take it up from there.
Okay.
Is that okay by us?
Okay, I think that is fine. That is fine by us. Yeah. But I want to, sir, please, apologies for this question. I think many people here are not in the engineering field. I forgot to mention that prior to the call. Many people here are mostly into humanities, arts, and the like. So maybe some of them, we might use this as a case study, but if in case you have like any journal publication body that is tailored towards the arts, especially social science, it will be more preparable because I'm aware that a lot of people are not into the sciences that are on this platform. Okay, so but first of all, I think, sir, is there anything you have to say before we proceed to the practical session, sir?
Myself?
Yes, like, is there any publication body that is that is towards the social sciences or arts, towards that area?
Okay, yes. Just like I mentioned to Mr. Udo, right? Those journals I mentioned actually accepts in any discipline. So even this research, technology and engineering, right? It doesn't just limit, it's not limited to engineering. only. It as well sciences, and then it also has to do with management. Those that are into maybe management and a few other discipline. But if you, because I actually did not know my audience, right? I think that was my bad. I should have gotten to know at least a few persons and then see how I can streamline or see how I can diversify this teaching this evening. So it's as if I'm just dwelling on those in engineering. My bad, please. But I'll try to see how I can get a comprehensive list for those that are not into engineering. So what I would do, what I would like you to do quickly for me is, now maybe you help me, give me a range of areas where people specialize, probably between today, this night, and tomorrow morning, so I can see how I can arrange the journals that will suit their interests. That's why when we're discussing, I said that you cannot just come and say you want to submit your journal. So you need to know your area of interest, and then does it marry the journal you want to submit to? So that's what you do for me, and I'll appreciate that.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll do that. I'll do that, sir. I'll do that, sir.
All right.
Okay.
So we have barely 2 minutes to finish up with our search.
Okay. All right.
So you can you were not on the call.
Yes, yes, I was.
So I dropped the link.
Okay.
Let me drop it again. All right. So that's the link to the Journal of Research, Technology and Engineering. So I have a pending research with them. That's why it's of interest to me. So sorry, I'm being selfish, but that's how it has to be. So please, we have to go through it. Then from what we've studied or what we've learned this evening, try to see how you can interact with it. Is it a genuine journal? What can you spot out from them? What makes you feel you don't want to submit there, right? You don't want to send your research work there. I think I'll have an interaction section after this search, and then try to check their index, the Scopus, the Google Scholar, and all of that, and then try to, if possible, see their time frame of acceptance and all of that. So if you can spot that out, I can assure you, you can do that to any journal.
Okay. All right. While we are doing that, just like our resource person has said, this is here on RightWeb, like just like how we've always done, we treasure more of practical practicality. So if you're in this class, you should take advantage of this. Go to even if you're not in the engineering field, go and check the journal, practicalize what he has taught us just this evening. You have to check the Scopus indexing in DOAJ, the Director of Open Access Journals. Is it actually registered in DOAJ? Is it registered in Scopus? Is it registered on all the platforms that he said we are supposed to check it? So please do that. You can ask Google, is the Journal of Research, Technology and Engineering, is it registered on which exact body? Is it registered, or which database or so is it registered on, so we can have understanding, please. Am I right, please, facilitator? I think, am I in line, please, sir?
Again now.
Yes, yes, sir.
All right, when you open the place, you will see the under the indexing, you will see it is all published all there. One can see the Google, one can see the Academia Education and Edu, Research Gates. I think those are the indexes.
Yes,
Where the
yes, but you need it's not enough to have this. That's the reason for the class. You're not enough. It's not enough to have this. You're supposed to go to a different page. You can ask Google now, for instance, please, on what, where is Journal of Research and Engineering indexed
Okay.
on? Where
Okay.
is, because somebody can claim to be, somebody is not indexed in.
Okay.
Are you getting me? So
Yeah, I
you see
do.
that. Are you seeing the look at this is the this is the this is the solution here. It says is indexed in Google Scholar and Dimensions database. Yeah, so it's a Google Scholar, it's not Scopus. So that's what he's saying. You should learn how to do that. So try, then he also mentioned something about checking out the review, or the review the checking out who exactly are the chief reviewers of the body. Can you find out, is there any dormant, like on the website? You check. So I'll leave that to you. When the instructor comes back, we will have to go back and he will ask us questions and will be required. I'm just giving us a heads up knowledge so we know exactly the direction he wants us to go. All right, so over to you, Engineer Beniza. Please, you can carry on.
You can. There's something I wanted to ask too, though our coach is still off. Let me digress a little. Most of us are doing our journal presentation Tuesday and Wednesday. So I was thinking you like guide us too on what to say, the areas to discuss, and all those stuff. Sorry.
Okay. All right, no problem. We'll do that after this assignment is done. So please just finish your assignment, then you can carry on with that. Okay, Engineer Ebenezer, is our time up, or can we still go ahead and do more search?
Okay, because we don't have enough time, I think I should come in now. Okay, so this is the home page. Let's go back to the home page of this. All right, so this is the home page, right? So if you read through this, you realize that the Journal of okay. Before that, let's hear from a few persons. What can you say about Journal of Research, Technology, and Engineering? I think if I can get 2 or 3 persons, then I'm good. I want to be sure of me.
All right.
Or should I
Hello.
make it
Can
a
I say
form
one
of
or two things?
question?
Yes,
All
go
right,
ahead
go
and
ahead.
speak, Mr. Odo. Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, I think on that journal, I've been able to at least to check on the editorial board, and I could be, and I'm able to go through their bios to see the kind of people that are under that publication. Then I've been able to check on the scope, what their interests are, what area they actually vested their interest in. And then I've been able to check on how to contact them and then their indexing. I think those are the few things I can say about it.
All right, thank you very much. That's very, very impressive. All right, one more person before we can continue. So, the class is not going to end today, right? I want to give us the grace of, I will stay with you guys maybe the next 1 week. So, I'll still share some other journals that might look more difficult than this one. So, this one, I feel you can basically see everything you need just at a glance, right?
No,
So let's
thank you so much. We appreciate that. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you very
Let's
much,
hear
engineer.
from one more person. So I want to know, is this journal free or not? Someone should answer that. If you're to publish here, what is the charge?
Please, we should speak up. Remember that this is a public forum. You can make mistakes and you learn. It's an interactive class. Please, if you want to try, just unmute your mic and try.
I think the journal is a free is a free one because at least
Okay.
when I checked this, I didn't see. And when I checked from some area, I didn't see any charge being placed yet.
Okay, well, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay.
Go ahead, Martin.
Okay. Actually, the journal it is written there that it is a free of charge. When you look at when you check from the publication charge, it's written there that is this journal or article will be published in a full color, both online and printed version, free of charge. So I think it's a free of charge journal.
That's very
Doesn't charge
correct.
anything.
That's very correct. So I'm really very much impressed that we're following up, right? So just like I said, thank you very much, Martins. Thank you for doing as said, right? Thank you so much for your contributions. So just like I said, having gone through this just at the homepage, you realize that this journal is a multidisciplinary journal, right? So when you say multidisciplinary, it means they accept quite a range of research. But they now have to tell you that uh, their work areas are usually across energy, environment, telecommunication, networking, modeling, and simulation. So if you have a research around that area, trust me, this journal is going to accept that your research work. And then let's go up again. Towards the scope, no, let's go up. Go up. So let's go to scope now, right? So here you see that they presented their scope in three facets. I told you we accept or we welcome original and extended version of previously published. Okay. So when we're talking about research work, they could actually be conference papers or they could be uh, journals itself. So conference paper are the ones you present in a conference, just like uh, this one that is related to engineering, one petro. So that one is usually annually. So where they have people present their research work in a conference and then they have it published. So it cuts across science. So in that science, you see the areas. So you now see that these guys, they don't even dwell only on engineering. So you see applied sciences, you see biochemistry and all of that. You even see mathematics, there's zoology, statistics, and all of that. So if you don't look in depth, you just say, okay, the name says engineering, technology, research, technology, and engineering, and you're already badging it that, oh, this is not for me, that's into health science and management. So you realize that they're into sciences and then they're into engineering. That's their strength, I should say. And then also into technology, right? So having seen that, you have your mind prepared that, okay, this is what I'm working on. Let's say probably you're working on a research that has to do with human health. You can say, okay, I can actually submit it to these guys because they are into what? Health science and management. And then for those that are in the marine, you can as well send in your papers here. So let's go up again and see a few other things. All right, their archives now. So their archives should tell you about the categories of publications they've had, right? So you see, you have civil engineering kind of publication, next generation computing framework. So that has to do with environmental engineering. So all of this um, research is just telling you that, oh, this is what we have been accepting in times past. So when you go through it and you see the quality of what they accept, it will bring to your mind that, oh, these people are actually uh, genuine, genuine uh, people, right? What I mean by genuine people is that they have quality papers or they accept quality papers. So let's go up again and see other information we need to get. So mind you, we've known their scope, we've known what we've just gone through previous, though we've not read them, right? But we've been able to have a glance on their previous accepted publications. So we'll go to the indexing now. Their indexing cuts across uh, Google Scholar, right? So Google Scholar is actually one of the top indexing we have in research. I know the one of the best is actually Scopus Index, but majority of the Scopus Index research journals are not free of charge. That's so disheartening, right? They are not free of charge, and those that are free of charge, you need to be very, very patient. Like it takes 6 months to 1 year, most times 2 years for it to get published. And some researchers don't have that kind of patience to wait for it. Then we have academia, and then we have Index Copernicus, right? And then we also have Science Factor and a few others. That's ResearchGate and International Standard uh, Serial Number, I think ISSN. So it's actually a good one if you should want to make use of this publication. And then thereafter, we go into the authors. So under these authors, it tells you what the the editors they expect from you as an author, right? So at first you see the paper submission, right? So their own submission procedure is one of the easiest I've seen ever, right? So you just enter your details, your name, your address, you being the primary author for the research or the corresponding author, right? It's either you're the primary or the corresponding author that is making the submission, right? So if you do that, just enter your bio and then you drop the file. And then if you have any comments to add, you do that and you click on submit. Your your research has been submitted, awaiting review. Then you realize that still under that authors, we have research paper status. So where you come and check uh, the status of your research. Has it been accepted? Is it still under review? What are the comments from the reviewers? And so on, so forth, right? And then beneath it, we have author guidelines, right? So if I should be privileged to write a review or to give a feedback to those guys, I will be like, let's have this author guidelines come first for people to do what? To see what you expect before the submission itself, right? So that should be uh, the actual procedure for it, but I think it's best known to them that way. So authors should submit only papers that have been carefully proofread and edited, right? And then you see where you have the JRTE paper template. So because it's highlighted, you need to click when you click on it. So let's click on it. When we click on it, it will require you to do what? To download, right? To require you to download the template. And then downloading the template is just okay. So we are here. Let's wait. Okay. So here is the template where uh the template is just like what you use to do what? To format your own research work. So you enable your editing, right? When you enable your editing, and then you see you have your abstracts. So you have your index terms, your keywords, just like I said before, and then your introduction, your procedure for paper submission. So this procedure for paper submission is actually uh, what they want, right? And then they have their citations. So let's scroll down. You see their citations. They said you make use of what the citation style is the one that has to do with individual brackets, right? So Mendeley as well will help you do that. So if you have equations, so they are very much detailed. They tell you every single thing that you need to do. So if you have equations, how you can insert your equations into your manuscript, and then some helpful hints that is required of you with regards to your figures and tables, and as well as some other uh, important things they want you to take note of. So this is a typical example of your figure that was placed there. So you just see it. If you're using fig one, so you ensure that the next figure you're bringing in should be fig two, and not you're using fig one and the next thing is figure. So you don't do that with this guy. So let's go back to the website and see a few other things we need to take note of. Let's go back. So it said um so what JRTE actually accepts is what original research, right? So when we say original research, this is something that probably nobody has done before, or the novelty is very, very high. And then survey and review articles. Most times, no, we are still under the author guidelines. So survey and review articles. So and then fast communications like short self-contained articles and ongoing research. And then you can also have technical notes. If you're this kind of person that's into technical writing, or you're into any job that has to do with technical reporting, you can as well submit your technical notes. And then take a look at the language structure there. They said the American or British usage is acceptable, but not a mixture of both, right? So you don't use the two. You must make use of one and be consistent with that one. And then all other informations that are needed, one author has to designate a corresponding email. So the person that is submitting this becomes what the corresponding author. So what it means by corresponding author, all the feedback that is to be sent with regards to the submission will be done through that contact person. And then the manuscript should be what? A single file with figure and tables embedded. So I was saying something previously that some journals, they'll tell you uh, they don't accept figures and tables embedded in your single file as a manuscript. So, but this one they do, and then you include keywords, just like we said before. All figures are high resolution, so you must have a very good resolution for your figures. And then all tables, including titles, should include what titles, description, and footnotes. So I think there should be, if you're actually into, if you've done a review on any journal before, you should be able to spot all this I'm saying. And then for that consideration, where you have to do grammar check and every other thing we talked about. So you see that all those things we're talking were actually relevant, because these guys will always want to see them reflect in your manuscript. So still under that authors, you see your publication charges. So if the journal is not transparent to tell you that all articles will be published in full color, both online and printed versions, free of charge. They even had to bold it free of charge, so you don't have to pay for anything. If it is not specified like this, that is free of charge, or you've not read from somewhere that this journal is free of charge, please don't get involved with that. And then lastly, I think there should be a publication certificate with respect to this. So please enter what's your reference number to get in the following, and e-certificate will be sent to your email. So that's after it has been published. So you get an electronic certificate for your publication. Then about the authors. So where we talked about trying to verify the editorial board. So you try to check about the authors. So you see the Dr. Dara, right, being the editor-in-chief. And then we have Samaranku being what the postdoctorate scientist. So all of them make up the what? We have Mohammed, we have Akila, and then we have Dr. Ganya, all of them making up the editorial body. So if you can not get a good profile of each and every one of them, or let's say the editor-in-chief, right, and a few other persons that are here, we cannot verify their profile either on academia or Google Scholar or even on LinkedIn, right? So I will advise that you should desist from such publications, or from such journals rather. So with that, I feel we've been able to go through this. And if anybody here is interested in publishing with respect to sciences, with respect to engineering and technology, this should be a good fit for you to start. At least it is what Google Scholar Index. So that should be all for now.
Thank you so much.
Other question?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're really I hope we are enjoying the class. Please, can we appreciate our facilitator for this evening? If you are enjoying the class, please let's
Thank
appreciate
you very
him.
much, engineer.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Engineer, thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. We really appreciate your time here with us. So, do we have any questions before we can switch over to preparation for the presentation on the conference paper? I think engineer will have a thing or two to say, but before that, do we have any questions concerning that? Okay, while that is coming up, we have a conference that is being presented, I think on Tuesday, right? Tuesday, Wednesday or so. That's for the conference is a conference that is being presented, and most of us will be presenting papers there. So we'll just go through what we need to know, what we need to focus on, I will maybe present. I will do like I'm doing a presentation, so we can understand and see what we need to focus on for that. Okay. So, do we have any questions before we go ahead with that? Do we have any questions? Any pertinent thing you need to know about your conference paper or publishing it after now, after you're done with this? Do you need to ask any question concerning it? Please go ahead and ask.
Okay, good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good
Yeah, I can hear
evening.
you. Good evening, sir.
Welcome.
Okay, my name is Einda Chike.
Okay, Prof.
Okay, I appreciate the presenter and I appreciate Dr. Ikenna for the good work he's doing. I want to ask, how do we navigate around this free journal publication? Because for more than a year now, there is one journal they claim that is free, and I sent a work to that place. But till now, they have not published it. They only gave me a paper that it has been published, but it is on review. Meanwhile, it is on the air, but under it, they said that it cannot be cited. But that paper have been having so much comment and engagement. Yet they have not removed that label that it cannot be referenced, but it is on the air. How do we avoid such people? There are about 2 articles like that, and they are painstaking research I did, yet I will not reference them, and it is on public view. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Prof, for the question. Right. So, I would like to know, were you the corresponding author? Like, were you the one that made the submission, and was it on a web page or it was just via email?
Yeah, one of it, the corresponding author. The second one, I'm not, and it was on their web page. In fact, it is even all this check I did, and they have Scopus standard, but it's actually a free place. What I see is that they are using people's work to beef up their library, or they are waiting for it to reach a particular level of citation before they can put it up. But how can we avoid those people? Because people will come that they are, some journal will come that they are free, and actually it is free. But in the other hand, they are using the researcher to beef up their work. That's my concern.
All right. So, yes, what you said is very, very true. Right. Most of them will reach out to you and be like, they are free, and in real essence they are free, but when you publish or when they claim that your work has been published, you will not see it reflecting on their website. So what I advise is, probably you write to the editor in chief and then stating that your work you submitted, you got a feedback that it has been published, and up till now you've not been able to have access to it, or you've not been able to cite it in any other of your research. I don't know if you've done that before. Have you written to the editor in chief?
They actually wrote to me and gave me the link that it is on air, that they have published it.
Okay.
But under my work, they are saying that it cannot be cited. that they are
Wow.
advising that it should not be cited, but that work is floating.
Wow, that's very dubious, right? So just like what I said, all of these are just hidden practices that they don't reveal to people. Honestly, you won't be able to spot this kind of situations. So, but what I do is that I take them as learning practice, such that if I see someone that wants to submit to that journal, I discourage the person. Or you can even, if you want to take it more drastically, you can even drag them maybe on any of the good research platform like academia. You make a post, or you write on academia that this journal did this and that. So by so doing, anyone that's see your profile as a pronounced researcher on academia, and you're discouraging people from submitting to that particular journal, it helps them as well avoid that. So this is just what I feel we should do, because some of these hidden practices. Okay, so like for myself, I've had invites upon invites with respect to some of the articles I submitted. This one said I didn't even submit to their own journal. So, but they were like, they want me to further the research there. So I gave it a try. And at the end, I realized that they just wanted to get hold of my research. I had to write to them that I'm not interested anymore, right? So you can as well discontinue that publication and try to see if you can republish it on another journal, and then you just do a few revamping on it, and then you send it to another journal, so it will give credit to your academic prowess.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I think what they did was to prevent me from going to republish it.
Wow.
Their action generally was just so that I don't go to another journal. That's what they just did.
Thank you very much for that question. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. But because of want of time, we have barely 15 minutes to 10. So I want us, in absence of, is there any other question we want to be rounding up so we can attend to the elephant in the room, which is the conference that is coming up, which I'm sure a lot of us are preparing for, both physically and online. So I don't know, is it going to be physical? Is it only physical, or will there be online presentations as well, please? Prof, is this going to be physical, or will it be there going to be online for people coming online to present?
I think for now, the school is advocating physical.
Okay. Okay. So everybody will have to come down here.
Physical. That's what they are trying to do. But some of us are already asking the center leaders that many people are coming from far distance. I mean, some people will be coming in from Abuja and Lagos, so that the school should at least consider the way they did last year. Last year, some people presented it online.
Mm.
But
Okay.
up to this moment, we've not had any feedback from the center leader whether they will consider the online.
Okay.
When the center
They
leader
told me
mentioned the online and the physical, so I'm surprised in the platform this physical is coming up. The meeting we had where she explained a lot of things, say we have two choices, either physical or virtual. So all of a sudden yesterday physical started coming up, but we didn't see physical communication from her on that.
But the physical communication came from Mr. Ade, the admin lead. It was not that dropped in that information.
He said from Dr. Rice, so it's okay.
Okay.
hello.
So yes, hello, sir. Please go ahead.
Yes, the conference has low turnout. Indeed, they told me ordinarily they are still considering online. But from the data, the schedule they gave me, 23 people. So if they say online, how many people will attend? I don't know, but for SSD, the schedule I have as at now, we are just 23. So if they tell, I don't know how many for environmental EFS, EFD or whatever. I don't
SES.
know. Yeah, SEV. I don't know how
SES.
many. Then procurement, I don't know how many. But for SSD, we are 23. So if they say online, how many will attend? So that's the challenge. Had it been much people turned out, that online will have been easy. And it's better for them to handle the population. Yes.
Okay. Well, that being said, we will not still rest on our oars. Our goal as a community is whatever program you are going through, that you pass through and succeed in one go, in one sitting. You not have to come back next year, proceed with your doctoral degree, proceed to whatever level, the next level. That's always our goal and target in this community. That's always been our reason for putting up all these structures, all these meetings, all these calls, is so that we don't get left behind. So for those that are presenting, I'll just give you a few tips, just like what we've said before. I think we've gone over this over and over, that when you're presenting, just be confident. For this, it's not a defense. More likely, people want to see something novel, just like our resource person has said. What is different about your work? That's what most people want to hear, especially if you're presenting physically. What is the most likely we're going to have, like you said, 26 or 23 people are presenting. Everybody there will might just read out from their handout what they wrote down in the work. But the people that will stand out are always people that make it personal. I always said it, if you remembered, when we were talking about defense, preparing for proposal or thesis defense, always make it personal. I found this, even if it's not a personal problem, whenever you're presenting anything that has to do with academia, try and make it less boring. It might look very good to keep on talking about your work as if just the way you wrote it, you just be droning on and on. But when you make it personal, it makes it less boring for the lecturer or for the panel, that are people that are listening to you, your audience. So when you look at your work and ask yourself, how can I make this personal? If, for instance, let's say you're dealing with um let's give for instance, you're dealing with drug use. Maybe what you designed was a system to prevent drug use in a certain area. You can add like a personal touch that maybe this problem has caused a lot of issues even in your community, because a lot of youth started having that they are having a lot of drug related issues. They're dropping out of school, and as a result of it, there has been high rate of crime in your community. You can mention in your community wherever you're from. So this led to the development of this system of preventing drug use. If maybe you're doing something that has to do with, let's say, sustainability, you can say that because of the depletion of the ozone layer, that even the forests in your village, they are all gone. So we have to find out a way to prevent these forests in and around your area, the areas, especially in this the southeastern part of the country, or wherever you are. Make it, find a way to, even if it's not personal, even if you don't know anything, maybe you just did the work or whatever, find a way to always make your research personal when you're presenting. That's always been the secret. Any great researcher that presents always finds a way to do that. So that's one tip. Number two is use timing. I think, how many minutes are they giving for each presentation, please? Somebody that knows, how many minutes is everybody getting?
15
It's
minutes.
about 10 to 15 minutes.
For
15 minutes.
Okay. 10 to 15 minutes. That's good. So that should tell you that when you are practicing, you will not just practice and just without time. So at home, your PowerPoint, look at it, put your timer on, and try and talk within 15 minutes what you will say at home. Present it to yourself first. If you accept it, it's fine. Then you can present to somebody else. You can call your son, call your children, call your husband, call your wife, and sit her down and say, okay, I want to present to you. It might sound funny, but it really is very, very effective. It gives you confidence. So they too, even if they don't understand what you're doing, but when by the time you are talking to somebody else about your work, even if the person doesn't understand you, if you are any kind of mistakes you're making, you can identify it before you now go forward to present it before the panel or before the audience. So that's another. I've mentioned that you should make it personal. Number two, I've mentioned time yourself and also use an audience. Use somebody around you as a test audience for that. So, our engineer, our facilitator, please, we know that you're not briefed about this, but is there anything you want to chip in as a well-versed researcher that you are about presentation to help everyone on this platform that is going for a conference or wants to present their papers to conferences? Is there any tip you would like to chip in, please? Go ahead, sir. Okay. Hello, engineer Ebenezer. I don't know if you're still on the call. Okay. I think he might not still be on the call. All right. So I think he's not on the call. Okay. So I've mentioned these three things. Number one is make it personal. Number two, please try and present with time. Use time and practice. Number three, use somebody. Always present in front of somebody. That will give you an edge. So but for those that are also presenting, another thing about those that are presenting is if you're coming down to physically, for those that are coming physically, because of the nature of the roads, try and come a bit early. Be there a bit early in case you are presenting first. So the nature of the roads around the school environment where we find ourselves is very, very well. It's not something to write home about. So you need to take that into account. So you know your preferred method of entry. So if you're taking flights, if you're coming in via boat or you're driving, you know exactly how to plan yourself. So you don't just plan it as a simple direct journey. You incorporate the factor of the bad road and the rest. So I don't know if this has answered any questions, or do we have more questions concerning the conference? So we treat that before we close for today. Okay. I guess we don't have any more questions. All right. So I just want to appreciate everyone. We have learned a lot in this session. Next week promises to be better. So for those group leaders, I'll have a meeting during the week with the group leaders. Even this week, I've not really had time to fix a meeting. I wanted to meet with the group leaders so that we'll have like a small meeting so that we can go ahead with our work. So we needed to have this meeting first with the facilitator so we can know where exactly we're publishing. So your assignment for everybody on this group, especially the group leaders, is go and find out free platforms. We'll give you a list from the facilitator of free platforms where we can all publish different journals we are writing as a group that we are publishing by the end of the month. So, but on your own, try and discover free platforms. We can do that on the on the directory of open access journals, DOAJ, directory of open access journals. On DOAJ, you find out different journals. That directory gives you an access to different journals that are free. So you find the one that relates to you, look for it, and try and identify whether it is a predatory journal or not. Then when we are meeting next, when we are having the meeting with the, especially with the heads, we can now go over it and discuss, because we must select a publication body for everybody before we can actually finish the manuscript. Because the manuscript writing is not hard. The problem is always, where do we structure it to submit? So we'll do all this that our instructor has said. We'll carry it out in the next class. But before then, for the different leaders of the groups, we'll have meetings so that we can figure out a way forward. By Sunday, the next meeting, we'll be talking about writing the manuscripts, and then by the other one, we'll talk about submission, and then we can go on with our life. So that's it. So thank you very much, everyone. Is there any other question, contribution, any other thing we need to know by anyone? Do you have anything to say before we close?
Yes.
Okay, please go ahead, sir.
You know that this our collabo groups that you encourage us to create and join. The essence of it is for us to maybe develop so much, individually develop a journal so that all of us can cite ourselves. But in my own group, nobody is doing anything other than that my own. I have tried to give them steps, yet no headway.
Okay.
You know.
All right. Okay.
They
This is what
have,
I want.
admittedly, they have produced title, but to
Okay.
go on to generate their question and objective with I even wanted us to be ahead with a statement of background statement.
Okay.
Nothing.
Okay.
So if your next lecture could figure out that side so that they can be encouraged, I will appreciate it. I'm sure it's not only my group that had that issue. Some other people may have the issue. So what we want is for people to have confidence instead of joining a group because they want to share already made cake. They should join the group with their own cake.
Okay. Okay.
Contributory cake. That's my own philosophy.
Okay. The thing is, not everybody will, and you know that this is not a paid platform. If this was a paid, that's why sometimes people make it paid. When you enter groups, like I'm on platforms, different platforms where I pay in dollars to be part of. And personally, I'm on them. I pay dollars to be part of them so that I can learn more. I don't believe I know anything. I like learning more and more. So that said, a lot of people will always show laxity because they just have free access to the group and they can just meet anybody. So that's why I mentioned that the group leaders will have a lot of work to do. I'm very sorry that a lot of people are very relaxed. Look at this call now. Not everybody is here, but when it comes to paper, everybody wants their name. That's the way it works. So, but we have a system for that. So why I had to group everybody is because when you are doing research, it's primarily not always good to do personal, individual research. That's why I said everybody should come up with a topic as a group. When you are doing something like you're submitting to Scopus, especially when you're going Scopus wise, when you submit to free journals that are normal research, that's this like what we interviewed, what we went through today, this JRTE, those ones can accept normal research. But when you are going to Scopus wants to see the academic rigor you're putting into your work. For instance, now, most of us were like the work that we want to do now, the typical way we do our work is using questionnaires or collecting data or doing analysis. Anybody can do that. I've said that over and over. And with the age of AI now, it's so easy to just copy and paste and paraphrase and submit. So Scopus indexed journals are much more difficult to get into now. This is from experience. I will not want to share the experiences I've had. That's why I'm recommending that we should do what we call systematic reviews. We'll enter that later on, but detailed reviews like systematic reviews where you don't need to collect data, you don't need to fabricate data. All you need to do is review articles in a systematic framework or a systematic way that will give you more, it will be academically rigorous but profitable, because you get to publish in free Scopus, because very Scopus, that is the Scopus journals that are free, are very difficult to publish in. It's very, very difficult. You need to really show academic rigor. So I'm very sorry about that. So, but when you now talk about systematic reviews now, systematic reviews are not good to be done only one person. You must be a team. So, but what we'll do is, if it is continuous, we'll instruct the leaders to remove all those that are, identify all those that are not communicating, they're not contributing. We only need those that are contributing in each group. All these things that I say, we'll have a meeting. This is what we discuss. When we do, we'll discuss on the plot, on the way forward, what to do. Because once we publish, once we do the manuscripts and publish, that's it. See the next meeting, the next time we group again. All right. So we're already past time by 3 minutes. So, but when we'll meet next week, we'll continue. So your assignment for this week is go and find a journal. Go to the DOAJ. Go and find a journal publication body where you can publish your own research. This conference paper you're writing, you know you can publish it after now. Personally, you can publish it. So go and look for a free journal and find out if it's predatory or if it's actually something that is worth it. That is your assignment between now and next week. So thank you very much, everyone that's been
This
part of this
conference paper, I thought we were going to publish it in the school journal.
Yes, the school journal. Yes, you can
Yes.
publish it in the school journal.
Yes, it's in the
You can
school
publish it in the school journal, of course. But the thing now is the problem I'm having with that is we don't even know the. Honestly, personally, I've not even published in this journal. The school journal. I don't know. I don't really know. I've not even down. I've not sensed a lot from it.
From their
So,
sponsors, World Bank, they may have Scopus access, but
well,
I think their journey must start with a step.
well, let's see
And
now. I
it's
don't know.
even good for us as if we are the pioneer people, it's better. But there are people that can have Scopus access through NUC. My school will
True.
have a journal that is Scopus standard, TED Fund. They have TED Fund journal in my state, yes.
Okay. So let's pray that now. That would be a good idea.
Yeah.
So that's just go and do. Everybody should go and find out where we can publish on your own. If you are left to publish, go and find out the publication body, because we will be working on manuscripts. This is just one person. We'll have more and more. He'll be with us next week again to guide us through the publication process. This one now it's not just be slides. We'll actually show how to publish when you're done with your work. So thank you very much. I'm really grateful for everyone that is here. Thank you very much to Margaret Onyebule, to Sir Aloysius Sudo, to my former Lambo, Minister Judy Tuguchukwu, Minister Martin Suga, Marina Nwakwe, Maoga Ikichuku, Sir Ogochukwu Kuribe, and of course, Provin Dachike. Thank you very much. So we'll see again next week. Remember, don't be stingy with knowledge. Some of these things, some people need it. So we're not charging. Now that we have free, everybody has access. Give them the access. Let them learn. Some of these things we are learning, it will help you. Thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate you.
Mr. Ike. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
very much. God bless
All
you.
right. We'll see next week. All right.
All
And
right,
good luck
bye-bye.
in your presentation. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, and good night.
Yeah. Good night.